Now, what about reliability and build quality?
Now, this is where unfortunately the tale saddens with them, is they had a very, very rough time with build quality. There were certain faults on the vehicles. JD Power Survey, which is renowned to be obviously the #1 survey in the UK, which assesses all the vehicles for reliability, dealer network services and things like that, the car actually came in the bottom 20 out of 120 cars.
So it really was that bad?
It was bad, yeah. They've had some persistent faults with the vehicles since they've been launched. Now, obviously, they're trying to basically get over that, but unfortunately, it has unfortunately stuck with them a little bit.
I mean, maybe people kind of think, well, the original MGs, there were always little niggles and problems on that, and in the new one, you get exactly the same.
Problem going back though, 20 years ago, that probably was the case. When you come to the future that you're in now and the technology that's around, you shouldn't be encountering any problems with the vehicles, or not such that they have.
Now, the Rover MGF is just such a different car to the Peugeot 306. That's more of a cruiser, the sort of car that would appeal to somebody who wears shell suits, baseball boots, and goes on holiday to Tenerife. The MGF is the sort of car that would appeal to somebody who wears smart suits, braces, who might be described as a bit of a yuppie. It's that sort of appeal that the MGF attracts, but it really is just tremendous fun. It's a very cramped cabin. To be perfectly honest, there's not a lot of room here, but you get some nice little touches like, well, a decent stereo system, no air conditioning, electric front windows, power assisted steering, which offers just the right amount of feedback for the driver. I think it's not too light, not too hard, but a good feel to it. But it's a really forgiving car to drive. Of course, it's mid-engined, rear-wheel drive, and offers near perfect weight distribution. This is the 1.8 standard MGF that we're in, which produces 120 brake horsepower. But it goes. Believe me, it goes. There's also the more powerful 1.8 Vvc engine, which produces 143 brake horsepower. And apart from the difference in the engine, gets a few extra bits and bobs like electric seats and air conditioning, things like that. But I mean, basically, it's the same car underneath. So if you've really set your heart on buying an MGF, what could you buy one for? What sort of money would you be looking at for an early example? Well, they were first introduced in 1995, so the earliest ones would be on an N plate, and they're certainly less now than £12,000 for one of those early examples. Look for something that's maybe done 40 or 50,000 miles, and it could cost you between £10,000 and £11,000. The 1.8 is certainly a lot cheaper than the VVC. At the moment, the new price differential is some £3,000, 18,500 for the 1.8, 21,500 for the VVC example. This is a 1.8, it's done 7,500 miles on a T plate, and this at the moment at a dealer would set you back £16,000. But it's a great fun little car, and compared to something like a BMW Z3 is a fair bit cheaper. Z3s are £19,000, £20,000 still at the moment, despite there being a new Z3 model out. Other rivals, well, I guess you might look to something like a Lotus Elise, but for a cut price, sports car, mid-engined as well, rear-wheel drive, you can't beat the MGF. Our main concern with the Rover MGF would be build quality, which is an old gripe with Rovers for as long as I can remember, to be perfectly honest. If you look around the car at the fit of the panels and the gaps between them, on this particular model that we have driving today, well, it's not very good, to be perfectly honest. My other main gripe with the MGF is the position of the pedals. The accelerator, the clutch are fine, but the brake pedal is set very high, and you find your right foot fishing for it under braking, which is not really ideal.